All right, so we are on our second day on the Oceania Regatta. Yesterday in Singapore, we got onto the ship. The actual embarkation process, a little bumpier than we thought. It took us about an hour to go on, but I'll be honest, I never know if that's necessarily something that we should pin upon the cruise line or on the actual port authorities itself. It looked like that Oceania had a plan, but maybe the port wasn't necessarily getting it done, whatever that plan was. But regardless, we got on after an hour, and then there's the ship.
So the ship is a lot smaller than the one that we had been on when we went on the marina last year. And it's kind of a scaled down marina where the public spaces are actually quite big for as small of a ship as it is. So even though, and I know where they're making their space savings is they don't have the other two specialty restaurants. So you do have that same feeling of going on the aft of the ship and you're in the Polo, then next to that is Toscana, but you don't have all those other restaurants there. But it does feel spacious, like there's no crowded areas that I've seen so far.
Yeah, we ate at the main dining room last night. It seems like a very nice life size. The food was okay. I'm going to tell you at that point, it was okay. It wasn't our favorite, but it's the first night. Okay, we're going to give them a little bit of a pass. We're going to see how it goes from there. There are one of our favorite places, Horizons, is just as if you'd been on Marina or Riviera, the Horizons, which is their lounge with the wraparound windows. That is absolutely beautiful. And I really like their library. The library has a much more open feel than what the Marina's library has. We don't want to forget to show you our room. For the first time since 2008, we opted not to have a balcony cabin, settling for an ocean view cabin instead. The windows still allowed us to watch the sea and even provided some space to store some of our stuff. The queen-size bed was very comfortable. And when spending time in the cabin, we often sat in the sofa, which had a decent-sized table. Across from the bed was a large screen TV. We also found a sufficient number of USB, 220, and 110 electrical outlets in the room for our electronics. In addition to the wardrobe, the end tables by the bed had shelves to store your folding clothes. This cabinet next to the vanity had additional shelf space. And of course, the desk had a drawer for your small items. There were also a couple other drawers. The room also had several hooks for coat and hats. In the veranda, you'll find the mini fridge stocked with non-alcoholic drinks, while still or sparkling water will also be provided. With a small cabin, you get a small bathroom. Trust me, one of the smallest we've ever had. Everything is within arm's reach. Now, fortunately, the shower has a door instead of a curtain, which is nice. Despite the size, the complimentary Bulgari toiletries tries to remind you that you are on a small luxury ship. The room was right by the elevator, and while the noise was not a problem, when the door was open, anyone waiting for the elevator had a clear view right into our room. We pulled out at 5 o'clock last night. We went to a show, and then this morning we have a sea day. And we actually spent the day by the pool, which is one of the things which we really love about this ship. First of all, it has 2 hot tubs and it has a pool. The pool is not very big. It is kind of deep. It's about a little over 5 feet. But what is nice is the fact that we got there, about 10 o'clock, and you don't have the chair hogs. We were able to find a couple of loungers. By the way, very comfortable loungers. Really, nowhere on the ship does it seem to be really, really busy.
It was kind of busy this morning in the gym. So one of the things that Oceania does is they're very committed to fitness and they're very committed to healthy lifestyle. So they have free classes. So there was free stretching class and there was a free Pilates class. You had to sign up for it, but it was crowded. Like, it was fully crowded and there was not any room left in there. So that is one of those things that you have to be the first one there. But outside of the gym, that is the only thing I have seen that has been crowded on the ship.
Yeah, we're really enjoying it. So in just a few moments here, we're going to go to the captain's reception, and then we're going to go get dinner, and then there's a show. It's a magician, so we're getting ready to do that. And then tomorrow we have our very first port ever in Indonesia. So continue on with our adventures by watching this video, and as always, keep on traveling.